Dougie Doug. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Beth I League with wait a minute. The real Beth I League has just entered the room.
At Real Beth I League.
There we go.
Hi, I'm Beth I League of BoardGameGeek TV.
I thought I was Beth I League.
Oh,
no.
no. You
right,
are, Brick?
I am Fantastica.
That's right. Yes, anyway,
Right,
I'm sitting down with Rick of Eagle-Gryphon Games. How are you?
Not funny, Beth. It's Saturday morning. We only have 2 more days to go. Trying.
I gotta say though, I'm happy we're your neighbors right across the hall here.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It is.
Hall 7, the brand new hall, working out great.
We're loving it, and you brought us literally a parade of games.
I did.
Your claim to fame was we're gonna do 5 unboxings in 15 minutes.
Well, even less now that I've talked to most
I know.
of the
All
first
right,
3.
clock's ticking. Let's go.
All right. Not your normal unboxing here, but the first game we want to show you is Wombat Rescue. These games are now in the flesh, but not in the country. They're on the boat, on the way. You've heard that from us before, but it really is a boat and it really is on the way. So Wombat Rescue, the fun thing about this game is it allows you to say poop absolutely as many times as you want and get away with it because poop is an essential ingredient in the game. Poop and wombats, not often you can get those in the same sentence. And what is characteristic about wombat poop, Beth? You got it.
Glitter.
Cubes. Wombats are one of the few, maybe the only, animal that poops in cubes. So we have the Beth I League
Cubular
5th person expansion for Wombat. We'll start out with the expansion first, and it's pink.
It's pink.
And it's pink. So here's your player board. Looks a lot like a dissected wombat, and that's because it is. So he's going around, this is Mama Wombat, and she's looking for baby wombats, and there's some mamas, and Beth is pulling out babies. And she's looking around for her lost baby wombats. And how is she doing that? Because she doesn't see very well. She's doing that because she's pooping and she smells very well. Well, I don't know what kind of perfume wombats use, but she has a really good sense of smell. So I've never really smelled a wombat, but all right, we're getting carried away. So the board is a random setup. And it's going to look different every time because it's hexes, how original. And they're going to go in any number of different ways. And the wombats are going to go around pooping. And the mama's starting over on one side. And the babies are on the other. She's going to poop her way over. Is there something funny about it?
I'm really glad we did this on Saturday because the word poop is hilarious now.
There you go. See, I told you. You don't have to buy the game necessarily. You can just go around and say poop, 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 and feel just as good. No, the dingo's on the board, and the dingo
are going to eat their babies?
Well, nobody eats anybody in this game. But the dingo will scare the babies away and further alienate the mother from the babies. And the whole idea is for mom to catch up with her babies by pooping and keeping the dingo at bay. And there's a lot of other things. They're called rules. And we have those for most of our games, and we make them up when we don't.
Awesome.
So,
well,
that's that.
Onward and upwards.
Onward and upward. Beth is going to be the shover. She's the designated pooper. Pusher. And next we have looping. It may very well appear that we are playing the game Loop Inc. right now because Loop Inc. is time travel, and it's getting things in order. So each player, up to 4, has their own board, and their board consists of 3 different space capsules. And they're all employees, quite conveniently, in a time machine making company. Travel agency, no less. But on the side, because Mr. Loop is a real skinflint, doesn't pay his employees real well, on the side they run their own sort of excursions. But they got to keep things straight, and the key to keeping things straight is, oh, and by the way,
excellent box inserts. That's the key to keeping everything straight.
That is. And if I don't do it, I certainly can't keep things straight. But characteristically fine quality from Eagle-Gryphon Games, home of very high quality games. And we now increasingly do this little plastic cover. Chad Creason was here to give a testimonial. He says this is what keeps him buying our games because he can keep them all stored vertically on the shelf. So once we take away the highly sought after, seldom replicated plastic cover, we have a plastic insert that keeps everything straight. And we have trips. These trips are what you can try to go on and build your time machines.
Out here in the middle.
Right, except what you actually do is you build them with a whole bunch of spare parts and other things that the cards correspond to. Now the key thing about this game is keeping things in order. And so on the first day, you're going to assemble your spaceship based on the various ingredients of where you want to go. Perhaps you want to walk with the Neanderthals, and if you do, you need these 4 pieces. You put them in order on your spaceship.
Off you go.
And on the next turn, day 2, you got to do the same thing. You got to recreate day 1. Why?
Why?
Space-time continuum. If you break it, what happens?
Then I don't get to watch Doctor Who anymore.
Bye-bye, Bethy. Bye-bye, Bethy. Bethy down the tubes because she busted up the space-time continuum.
It's happened all the time.
And now what happens on day 3? Can you guess?
I'm guessing I have to recreate day 1 and day 2.
What a woman.
That's why they pay me big bucks.
And she doesn't need rules. Doesn't need rules. Can do that on her own. And that's it. And that's the complication of the game is keep it in order. Don't break the space-time continuum. And yeah, and that's it. Where's the? Oh, got to show you the score track.
That is a beautiful
innovative
score track. Yes.
Not your typical score track. And otherwise, we're pushed on the floating market. Oh, yeah, we got it backwards. There's the cover. There are those rules that Beth doesn't need.
Nah,
She's got this one too. So this one I've started calling Roulette Under the Influence. So this is Roulette.
That sounds like a good thing we should be playing today.
Beth has her board upside down, but it doesn't matter.
No, I have my board right side up.
All right.
You have your perspective upside down.
My perspective's been upside down for a while now, actually. So this is the casino. This is the roulette wheel. These are the side bets. And each player, got to take a look at these dice.
Yeah.
Each player gets an assortment.
Those are sexy dice.
Of dice, absolutely. Sexy dice. They're different types. We got the 4 sides. We got the 8 sides. I think there's a 10 floating around. This meeple's lost.
Tile.
So everybody gets their color dice. So they've got a collection. And then they get, I think, 1 white die and there's a negative die. What you do for 4 turns around is you put your dice onto the side bets, let's call them that, and you're trying to influence the master bet. Now, everyone's picking numbers here in the middle too. This is like the roulette wheel, except there are 40 different possibilities instead of 38 on most roulette wheels, but they're in groups. So you may have a group of 3 or 4 or 5 numbers, and you're trying to bet on the overall die roll, because after each person does 4 influencing things while under the influence, you then pick up all the dice that are down, and guess what? Beth's going to get to do it because it is so much fun. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. And what happens is we count them all up. That takes about half the game time, counting these up and adding and subtracting and doing all that stuff. And ultimately, one number emerges. That's the lucky number. And what do you get for your lucky number, Beth? Today's audience will receive fruit.
Woohoo!
And if you're, there are 5 different fruits. And if you're one of Amma's grandchildren, who they actually set up the floating crap game in the market, Amma doesn't know it, and they take the fruit back to Amma. Amma has made a guest appearance on the show tonight. Very unusual to see Amma here. She's usually back in the kitchen making that famous fruit salad. But in this case, she's in the box waiting for Beth to say, "Move on, will you, Rick? Jesus, this is taking forever." All right, and so that's the floating, no, that's floating market. Roulette under the influence.
With
very
fruits.
Colorful.
Well, you know, I feel like we could use the fruit we make in the roulette to make some pretty good under the influencing drugs.
Yeah, why not?
Drinks.
That's later. What are you doing tonight? All right, we're on number 4. How am I doing on time, guys? All right. This is Nonprofiteer, and Nonprofiteer is a deck deconstruction game. You've heard of deck builders?
For sure.
This is just the opposite. So the primary ingredients of air, I don't know what the primary is. What is air anyway?
And mostly nitrogen.
Mostly nitrogen, and some what comes out of it, I guess, is oxygen. Here's the nitrogen, and then we got some krypton. I don't think krypton's in the air.
No, I don't think so.
No, but we do have krypton, and then we have xenon. But well, here's krypton. I don't know where the heck xenon is. There's a bunch of xenon in here too. Now, xenon's the key ingredient to the game. What you're really trying to do is shed all the other elements and end up with just xenon, because when you have just xenon, you can fill the various contracts that the game presents to you.
Right.
And that's what scores the big points. And you can play different variants that TC Petty has organized. And I'm losing my voice. This is not a good thing. So we got about 3 minutes to go. I see it through. And the rest is in the rules. So look at the Kickstarter, read the rules, buy the game.
Travel to a site
to
learn more about it.
Travel to BoardGameGeek, absolutely, to move more about it. And that's all I have to say about this one.
Deconstructing cards.
Deck deconstruction.
Deconstruction.
Brilliant concept. Different concept.
Gaseous concept.
Gaseous. Gaseous indeed.
Don't get to use that word
There
too
we
often.
are. Yeah, that's a good word.
I know, right?
Yeah. And then finally to my friend Hassan Lopez. How you doing, Hassan? Wanted to make sure we got Clockwork out here. Many of you may have heard of the game. It's starting to really catch on. Definitely my favorite big game besides the Gallerist of last year that we produced. And just one of these big guys that has
And
all
I was going to say, an
sorts of-
equally big box.
Comes in
Gallerist is that way, but yeah.
Yeah, Gallerist as well. Those are Discovery Nets. These are a couple of the expansions available on BoardGameGeek. Where's Chad? Yeah, but anyway, available on BoardGameGeek from the store. And those are expansions. And then in the box, except as you can see, it doesn't quite fit in the box.
Oh, here,
but I have my
you got
thumb
some.
holes. I invented them, but I can't remember them. Another
Thematically,
handy-dandy.
what is Clockwork Wars about?
Well, you set up this great big board with all these hexes, and it's random every time you set it up. As you can see, there's lots of hexes. And you are vying for territories that essentially are right next to each other. And you're giving directions to your units each turn simultaneously, the old diplomacy concept, simultaneous and secret as to what you're doing, reveal at the same time, and then there's scientific exploration, there's the military confrontation. The phases are all on this nice handy-dandy screen, and screen that you put in front. This represents your tribe, and in the inside is basically the entire game. So you don't really need the rules. Beth definitely doesn't need the rules.
No.
Never looks at the rules. And but we have some great bits.
I was going to say, and again, true to Eagle-Gryphon standards, custom molds for the pieces.
Custom molds, everything fits in. All the expansions we invented fit in. So you only need the one big box.
Thank you.
So there's even a Sentience expansion. All the contents fit in. These are the painted generals.
Yeah, and let's highlight those.
These are the painted generals, sagging tanks, but nothing that hot water doesn't fix. Bunch of wood, and let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Score track. What I want to feature here is the art. The art was done by, I think it's 15 different artists. There are 60 unique pieces of art in the game, and it's very international. There are, I think, 12 different countries represented by those artists in putting this together. So the art's magnificent as represented on each of the cards, and obviously the cover and the screens and all of that as well. So
Rick, you've had a busy year.
yeah, we have. We did something like 24 new games in 2015.
Wow.
Any big companies out there want to take us on? Because we got the games. And BoardGameGeek's got the marketing.
There you go. And you have got to the end of your game parade.
I guess we have.
We have.
So I'm Beth I League. Thanks very much.
And I'm Rick of Eagle-Gryphon Games.
There we go.
And
together we are Fantastica!